Let me tell you about motorbike rider X, a woman in Western Australia who was just going about her day on 7th December, riding her Harley-Davidson down Abernethy Road. Things were going fine until driver A pulled out onto the road without giving way, causing a collision that threw her off her bike and set off a series of events that would change her life. This wasn't just a minor accident. Motorbike rider X ended up with quite a list of injuries. She had a soft tissue injury to her neck leading to ongoing pain and headaches. Her right shoulder, that needed surgery for a labral tear, and there were complications like a Hill Sachs lesion and subacromial bursitis. She also had possible nerve root irritation affecting her right arm. It didn't stop at physical injuries. She was diagnosed with an adjustment disorder, dealing with anxiety and depression. Some experts even considered post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, but the court leaned more toward the adjustment disorder as the main issue. On top of that, she had injuries to her nose, chin, and left elbow, so physically and mentally she was facing a lot of challenges. As if that wasn't enough, almost a year later, on 21st of November, she was involved in another accident, this time with driver B. But here's the thing, the court dismissed that claim, stating that the injuries from the second accident didn't meet the legal threshold for compensation. So, that was off the table. Back in court for the first accident, one of the main issues was the extent of her injuries and how they affected her ability to work. The defence for driver A raised some questions about whether her symptoms were as severe as she claimed, suggesting that anxiety and the stress of the legal process could have played a role in how she was feeling. The court didn't dismiss these concerns outright, but looked carefully at the medical evidence presented. Several medical experts weighed in. Mr. Benjamin Kimberley, the orthopedic surgeon, mentioned that while her shoulder surgery had gone well, her neck might be the source of her ongoing issues. Dr. Michael Kent considered the possibility of nerve irritation but couldn't say for sure. Dr. Peter Silbert, a neurologist, pointed to a possible festule issue but nothing conclusive. On the psychological side, Dr. Nick DeFelice diagnosed her with PTSD and adjustment disorder, while Dr. Eileen Tay thought her symptoms were more consistent with anxiety. Dr. Andrew Harper, an occupational physician, acknowledged that her symptoms had worsened over time, which made things complicated. When it came to motorbike rider X's credibility, the court had a nuanced view. It was noted that she sometimes struggled to recall events accurately, which affected her reliability as a witness. However, this wasn't taken as dishonesty, but rather as a challenge in presenting consistent details about her condition. In the end, the court accepted that motorbike rider X was injured and that she had lost her ability to work in her role as a special needs education assistant. However, there was a possibility she could work part-time in a different capacity, but that was uncertain due to her ongoing symptoms. The court also took into account a redundancy payment she received in 2015, which amounted to just over $33,000. Then there was her partner, caretaker Y, who really stepped up during this difficult time. He took on household duties and provided her with personal care, especially after her surgeries. His support was an important part of her recovery, but it also highlighted the broader impact these injuries had on their lives. In the end, the court awarded motorbike rider $374,000. This covered her physical and psychological injuries, lost earnings, and future medical expenses, all carefully calculated to reflect the extent of her suffering. The court did note that engaging in rehabilitation could have potentially helped her recovery, but it wasn't clear how much of a difference it would have made. This case shows the importance of having comprehensive medical documentation and expert opinions when seeking compensation for serious injuries.